Tracey from Lavinia Stamps. We're going to be creating a really lovely, vibrant, colourful background, and we're going to be stamping our liliums today. Starting with, I've got my Brushos here. I've literally put a tiny amount in the bottom, almost like a pinch of salt. I'm just going to create a wash for the background. This is a really vibrant yellow, and I've got the turquoise here. I'm just going to bring in a little bit of that around the edges. And if I just add a little bit of water, it will just bleed into the yellow. And I've got some Prussian blue. Let's put a little bit of that again on the edges. So I'm keeping the centre that lovely bright yellow. Now let's dry this off. Using our stencil brushes. These are our new stencil brushes, which are super soft, but there's a lot of bristles in there, so it's very dense, so it holds the shape well even though they're super soft. So I've got Distress Oxide. This is abandoned coral, and I'm just going to go over the top of the yellow, and this just makes that colour even brighter, the fact that the yellow Brushos is underneath. Now I'm not covering it all, I'm just putting a little down in the middle there. And then I've got Blueprint Sketch, so I'm just going to bring a little of that in as well. And what's great about the oxides is that they react with water. So when I splash a little bit of water over the top, it gives us a really nice effect. So I'm only going around the edges. I don't want to lose that vibrancy in the middle. So I've got my fan brush here and some water, and then I'm just going to tap over the top. Now the longer you leave the water on there, the more the colour will bleach out. Now I don't want it bleaching out too much, so I'm going to just act quickly and just dab it up as I go along. And you can see how quick that reacts. But it gives you a great texture. I've got some really nice vibrant colours here again that I'm going to use to stamp. I've got one of my mini stamps here, mini leaf stamp, and if you haven't got this particular one, don't worry, you can use any foliage stamps at all. So I'm just building up all around the edges. And I've got another little stamp here. This is a great one. This comes in a set. But again, if you haven't got this one, don't worry. Other stamps will work equally as well. But you can see how quick you can get great background just using these mini stamps. And lastly, I'm going to use Medieval Blue. It's quite a dark colour, this, so I'm just going to keep it to the very edges. If you keep your dark colours around the edge, it kind of draws your eyes into the centre. Okay, I'm happy with that now. So moving on, we've got our liliums here, and I'm going to ink these up in the Nocturne. So let's just pop those down on this side first. And then we've got a slightly bigger one. And I'm going to stamp this up in that space at the top there. So give that a good press. Okay, so it finishes here. Now I want it to run to the end of the card, so I'm just inking up the stem here. I'm going to turn the stamp around and just line that up, stamp down, and that then brings it all the way down to the bottom. And we've got our smaller lilium, and I'm just going to pop that round about there, like so. We've got a lot of colour going on here, and you can't see the liliums too well because there's so much happening. So what I've done is inked up and then stamped on a piece of paper and then cut the heads out. You don't need to cut the stems out or the little leaves, it's just the heads. I've got some glue here. This is our Cosmic Shimmer, which is a brilliant acrylic glue, and it dries very quickly. So all I'm going to do is just put a little bit of glue on the back. And all we're doing is popping the cutout images over the top, and this really does make the flower heads stand out so much more against that lovely bright background. so quick and easy to do with the glue drying nice and quick. You haven't got to wait too long at all for that to dry. Okay, and you can see from that now how much that stands out. We're going to put a little bit of a verse over the top of that as well. Now, because there's quite a lot going on, I just want it to be very subtle in the background. So I'm going to use Warm Breeze, which is a nice light colour. Like so. And then I'm going to use Glossy Accents now over the top of the liliums. This is like a clear resin. It looks cloudy initially when you pop it over the image, but I can assure you it will dry crystal clear and it looks fabulous. It just gives it some kind of a dimension. It's really easy to use as well because it's so thick. You've got full control, so it's not going to go running off your card. Now it'll probably take about 15 minutes, maybe half an hour to completely dry. And while that is wet, I'm actually going to pop a little bit of glitter over the top of that as well, so it dries into the resin. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's demo, something a little bit different again. And I hope it inspires you to have a go.